Your child looks you straight in the eye and says, "I didn't do it." But you know they did. Let's be real. As parents, dealing with a lie right to our faces can feel incredibly frustrating. It's disappointing and honestly, even a little alarming. You might instantly go to that dark place and worry, "Oh no, am I raising a dishonest person?" But here's something completely surprising for you. Not all lies are signs of a bad kid. In fact, lying is often a totally normal, expected part of child development. Today, we're going to explore why kids lie, what it really means for their developing brains, and exactly how parents should respond.
Welcome to Next Gen Parenting. If you're looking for practical, real-world parenting tips and some really fascinating child psychology insights, well, you are in exactly the right place. Let's uncover the psychology behind why children lie in today's explainer of the source material.
Here is our roadmap for today's explainer. We're going to cover lying as a cognitive milestone, the 5 main reasons children lie, common mistakes we parents make, how to actually encourage honesty, and finally, the real emotion behind those lies.
All right, let's jump right into section 1, lying as a cognitive milestone.
First things first, we really need to shift our perspective. Instead of asking, "Does my child lie?" the much better question is, "Why is my child lying?" Because lying doesn't automatically mean a child is dishonest. In many cases, it's actually a neon sign that incredibly important cognitive skills are developing, like imagination, perspective taking, and problem solving. Research from Frontiers shows that pulling off a lie actually requires advanced cognitive milestones, things like theory of mind, which basically means the child understands that you don't know everything they know, and executive function, which they use to suppress the truth and invent a plausible alternative. So it's literally a massive neurological accomplishment.
To put that into perspective and show you just how early this brain development starts, get this. According to research from Dr. Kang Lee, an incredible 30% of verbal 2-year-olds will already try to pull the wool over their parents' eyes. By age 3, that number jumps to 50%. And by age 4, 80% of kids are trying out half-truths. It's pretty much a universal human milestone.
Looking at how this builds developmentally, you can see how these untruths evolve. At ages 2 and 3, it's just pure magical thinking. Memory and imagination completely blend together. Then by 4 and 5, that theory of mind really emerges, and they start testing boundaries just to see what you actually believe. It isn't until age 5 and older that they hit the intentional phase, where they clearly understand the difference between truth and falsehood and are truly capable of real deception.
Moving right along to section 2, the 5 reasons children lie.
Understanding why a lie happens is absolutely crucial. Reason number 1, to avoid punishment. Honestly, this is the most common reason. Imagine you ask, "Did you break the vase?" And they say, "No," even though you both know they did. The child isn't necessarily trying to maliciously deceive you. What it means is they fear punishment way more than they value honesty in that moment. So what should we do? Stay calm. Focus on the value of honesty rather than showing anger. You can say something like, "I'll always appreciate the truth, even when mistakes happen."
Reason number 2 is having a powerful imagination. Young children naturally blur the line between reality and fantasy. So if your kid comes up to you and says, "I rode a dinosaur today," they aren't trying to manipulate you. Their brain is literally just exploring creativity. This is a super healthy developmental stage. As parents, we should encourage that imagination while gently helping them understand reality. Maybe by saying, "Wow, what an amazing pretend story."
Okay, reason number 3, to gain attention. Some kids will wildly exaggerate stories, right? Saying things like, "My dad owns 10 cars," or "I scored the winning goal." Why do they do this? Simply because attention feels highly rewarding. They're seeking recognition and connection from us. If you notice this happening, try to proactively provide more positive attention throughout the day. Children who feel deeply seen usually need far less of this attention-seeking behavior.
Reason 4, to protect someone's feelings. Children often tell kind lies, like pretending to love a gift they actually kind of hate. While it's technically a lie, this behavior actually shows growing empathy and social awareness. They're learning that words impact other people's emotions. We can guide them here by teaching honesty with kindness, because both of those are really important life skills.
And finally, reason number 5, they just feel way too much pressure. Sometimes, expectations around school grades, sports, or family rules can make an environment feel unsafe for making mistakes. A child who is terrified of disappointing you might just hide the truth to protect themselves. What this means is that we, as parents, need to make absolutely sure our kids know their worth is never, ever based on their performance or perfection.
All right, let's look at section 3, mistakes parents often make. So how should we react? Because researchers have found our knee-jerk reactions can accidentally encourage way more dishonesty. Mistake number 1 is calling the child a liar. We should never label a child's identity. If you say you're a liar, they start to believe that's just who they are. Instead, focus entirely on the behavior. Say, you told something that wasn't true. It's a tiny shift, but it protects their self-esteem from long-term damage.
Other major mistakes include yelling immediately, or worse, punishing a child strictly after they finally tell the truth. Think about that for a second. If a child comes clean and then gets severely punished, what did they just learn? They learned that getting caught is incredibly dangerous. They didn't learn that honesty is important, so the next time they're just going to try way harder not to get caught.
So that brings us to Section 4, how to encourage honesty.
Instead of being an intense disciplinarian, experts say we should act more like an emotion coach. Strategy 1. Actively praise honesty immediately. Say, thank you for telling me the truth. Strategy 2. Stay really calm when mistakes happen, because children are much more honest when they feel emotionally safe. Strategy 3. Model honesty yourself, because they are constantly watching us. And strategy 4. Create a home where mistakes are actually viewed as opportunities to learn, not disasters.
Let's wrap things up with Section 5, the emotion behind lies.
At the deepest psychological level, children are biologically wired to protect their connection to you, because to them, connection equals safety. So the next time your child lies, pause before reacting. Ask yourself, what is this lie trying to tell me? Because the truth is, the lie usually isn't the real problem. The underlying emotion or fear behind it is. Understanding that emotion is where great parenting really begins.
And this brings us to a truly powerful parenting lesson. Children don't stop lying because they're afraid of us. They stop lying because honesty feels safe. The absolute strongest parent-child relationships are built entirely on trust. And trust only grows when children deeply know, I can tell the truth even when I make mistakes, and I'll still be loved.
So I'd love to hear from you. Has your child ever told a surprising or funny lie? What do you think was the real developmental reason behind it? Share your experiences down in the comments below. And hey, if you found this explainer helpful, make sure to subscribe to Next Gen Parenting for more practical parenting tips and child psychology insights. Together, let's raise confident, honest, and emotionally healthy children. Thanks for joining us today.